the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are likely to be without the one and only Klay Thompson next season, who's an unrestricted free agent and is increasingly unlikely to re-sign with the Golden State Warriors. By the way, I'm already being told he's going to end up with the Dallas Mavericks. This leaves the Warriors with $147.2 million in committed salary for next season. And they enter free agency as a non-tax-paying mid-level team. Here's Zach Lowe on the end of an era.
This is the end of something magical in basketball. Like, this was a dynastic team, and this guy, from the threes in Oklahoma City to the threes against Toronto, to coming out with a busted ACL to shoot the free throws, to the loudest ovation I heard in that arena ever. This is the end of something, and we need to take a moment to appreciate it. We also need to take a moment to ask, what's plan B here for this team that has one of the 10 to 12 greatest players of all time still playing at an all-NBA level?
That's a great question by Zach Lowe, but this isn't my first question to you, Big Perk. The first question would be, has Klay Thompson been wronged by the Golden State Warriors?
Look, I understand it's business, okay, but it's also business principles. And when you're talking about Klay Thompson and what he meant to the Golden State Warriors, four-time NBA champion, the man is going to have a statue outside that arena or practice facility, but damn it, it's going to be somewhere in the Bay Area. I said this at the trade deadline that I felt like they should have ended this relationship and let Klay go, or got traded him and let him have a new destination. Now when you're looking at it, it's bad, and the Warriors look bad. With Klay, deleting his, going on social media, deleting all this stuff, his history with the Warriors. And here's my thing. Where's Draymond and where's Steph? Because when it comes down to Klay, he felt disrespected all season long, okay? He watched Andrew Wiggins get $100+ million. He watched Jordan Poole get signed to $100+ million before he was shipped off to Washington. He watched Draymond Green get $100+. The man felt disrespected, and all year long, people were talking about Klay is not the same Klay. But Shannon, Stephen A., y'all know this. When a player mind is not in the right place, he's not going to perform at the level that he needs to perform at. And I just don't like how the Warriors are handling this situation. I don't like how it's been handled when you talk about Klay Thompson and his greatness and what he meant to this organization. Absolutely, Klay has been wronged by the Golden State Warriors.
Go ahead, Shay.
But see, here's Perk, this is why I disagree with you. Now, when he got his money, was Draymond them wrong? Was Poole wrong? If you go back and look at it, Jordan Poole had a career year when his contract was up. They paid him. Draymond played well. They paid him. Stephen A. said it last week. This is statistically Klay's worst year. It happened to be in a contract year. They didn't wrong him. Think about what you said. You said it 3 times, Perk. Think about what Klay meant. I already paid you for what you meant. Remember I gave you that 4-year, $140 million? In 2 of those years you missed with a ruptured Achilles and an ACL? I paid you for that. I offered you 2 years, $48 million at the beginning of the season. You said no. You bet on yourself. See, we always hear stories of people betting on themselves, Stephen, they don't we? But how many times they bet on themselves and they crap out? We don't hear those stories where you just saw one unfold right in front of your eyes. They don't owe Klay. They paid Klay for that. There are very few teams. The Lakers are one of those teams that will pay you based on what you've done for this organization. But most businesses, most teams, like, no, bro, I'm giving you on what I believe you can do moving forward. I've already paid you for what you've done in the past. They haven't wronged him. They paid him a ton of money, and they paid him 2 years on that 4-year, $140, and he only gave him 2 years of that. So when he was rehabbing that Achilles, did they take any money back, Perk?
Nope.
That year that he tore his ACL, did they take any money back? Did they wrong him then? No, you can't worry about, and I get it. The worst thing you can do is measure your worth by what you saw someone else got. And I know he saw Poole get that money. He saw Draymond. He see Hartenstein getting $29 million a year. But hey, you can only get, remember, value is determined by someone else. You don't get to determine your value. If somebody won't pay it, you're not that valuable.
Well, let me say this to you, Shannon. You're absolutely right. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but sometimes it's not about counting somebody else's money. It's about recognizing the fact that they've set a market, and their market the market that they set, if statistically and data-wise you measure up, then all of a sudden you have a legitimate argument. So even though the market's being set by somebody else, you do have a license to pay attention to the market that they've allowed to have been set. Having said all of that, let me say this to you. Klay Thompson, 17.9 points, 43% shooting from the field, 39% shooting from three-point range. This is a guy that shot 39% from three-point range. He had shot 40% or better from three-point range in 9 of his first 10 seasons, okay? We get that. Here's the statistic that I think we got to throw out, because the highlights, and I think as a show we did somewhat of a disservice to Klay Thompson just now showing some of those highlights. Ranked second on the team with 18.9 points per game after the All-Star break, shooting 45% from the field and 41% from three-point range. Most dudes in the league, 90% of the league can't do that. 90% of the league didn't do that. And so Klay Thompson doing that, we got to give credit where credit is due. But Perk, here's why I agree with Shannon. Everything that you just said when you talked about how he was feeling, he was a bit salty, he may have felt a bit disrespected. Perk, how do we know that Klay Thompson didn't want to leave? How do we know he didn't call the Warriors and say, yo, it's time for me to go? It ain't about what they didn't do. It's about him saying, look, I need a fresh start. I need to go someplace else. I'm watching Kuminga play. I'm watching Podziemski play. I saw the pursuit of Paul George over the last few weeks, who's the same age as me. So it is entirely possible, because that's one of the things I've heard, it's entirely possible that Klay Thompson looked at the Warriors and said, don't bother. I want to get up out of here. And I'm hearing he's going to Dallas. I don't think that's an accident. Why would I be hearing he's going to Dallas? Because somehow, some way, he's already let Golden State know.
No, it was a lifestyle for Klay Thompson living in the Bay Area. And I want to go back to Shannon's point when you talk about Draymond getting his $100 million. I mean, at that point, Draymond was averaging, when he signed, he was averaging like 7 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, was that deserving of $100 million? I mean, let's be real here. And I understand.
Perk, that's not what Draymond Green is measured by, though. You and I both know that Draymond Green is measured by his defense and his leadership.
I know that. Defense and leadership for $100 million, I'm just saying, he got rewarded for it, right? No matter if you want to, because if we're bringing up the numbers, then what you just said, Klay Thompson had one of his worst seasons at 39% shooting. He still was one of the best shooters in the game.
Perk, you can't say, ESPN come to you and say, Perk, we got a 3-year deal. This is what we want to pay you. You say no. Okay, at the end of the year, they go in a different direction. You can't say they disrespected you. They came to Klay at the beginning of the year, offered him 2 years and $48 million. Does that not say now he's about to have to play for the mid-level, which is about 12 to 13? How do you mean they didn't want you? Hold on. Check this out. But see what happened, Boston gave Holiday 4 years, 135. He's like, hold on, I'm pretty close to the same age, if not younger than Holiday. I can still do some of the things Holiday, again, Perk, you know how this goes. You and I both been professional athletes. Stephen A., you covered this thing for 3 decades. You start looking over there and you see a player that's comparable and he get this kind of money. Well, I already know they're going to take care of your boy because I got 4 of these things and I've been yada, yada, yada. Bro, you can't worry about how another team measure and treats their players. I can only judge by what ESPN does for me. What Fox, what NBC, CBS does for somebody else, Shannon Sharpe is not over there. Shannon Sharpe's right here. And give me what I feel. I would have taken it. 2 years, $24 million, I would have taken it. But that's just me. He turns it down. They moving on. He's moving on. What's the problem?
Real quick, Perk, before you chime in, and I'll give you the last word on this, just to elevate your point, Shannon. Klay Thompson and Jrue Holiday are both 34 years of age. Klay Thompson turns 35 in February. Jrue turns 35 in June. Go ahead, Perk.
See, it's not what you do, Stephen A., it's how you do it. All I'm saying is the way that this is happening right now, this looks bad on the Golden State Warriors. This separation or this divorce ain't have to end ugly. And then on top of that, let me say this to you. Did you see what Dylan Brooks got from the Houston Rockets, I believe, last offseason? He got 4 year, believe it was 4 year, $80 million. 4 year, $80 million.
Yes.
My thing is this. I've been saying Klay Thompson need a fresh start. But when we're talking about Klay Thompson, we're talking about a guy that's going to have a statue. We're talking about a guy that's probably going into the Hall of Fame. We're talking about one of the greatest shooters to ever touch the basketball, along with arguably the greatest backcourt ever to play the damn game of basketball. The man deserved to be, if you're going to part ways, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying they shouldn't have parted ways, but right now, this is ugly, the way that it's going. And let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Both of y'all. Let me ask you this. The Warriors losing Klay, did they get better?
I don't think so, but it remains to be seen. It definitely is the case with Paul George with the Clippers, but it remains to be seen with the Golden State Warriors. And here's the deal, Perk. Shannon was right. They offered him 24. He wanted 35 per. Now he might get 13 to 15.
He getting more than that.
I hope you're right, because he deserves it. I think Klay Thompson in this day and age, Shannon, is a $25 million a year player minimum. Absolutely.
Stephen A., you know what? I'm gay to relationship. Perk, you married. Let's just say O'Shea married. And me and my wife, I say, babe, we gonna get it. Hey, Stephen A., we get a divorce. I say, babe, I got $35 million for you right now. Take it or leave it. She say, no, I'm gonna take your black you-know-what to court. She go to court. The judge give her $5 million. How you gonna turn around and say O'Shea did her wrong? I offered her 35. She didn't take it. We went to court. She got 5. Golden State offered him 24 per. He turned it down. How Golden State doing wrong?
Well, first of all, if you're getting a divorce, you're not going to your wife, your ex-wife, and say, babe, I got 35 for you. Okay?
You're not doing that.
You ain't doing that.
Yeah, that's right, Shay. You're right. You know you're lying. You know you're lying. If you had 35, you're going to say you had 17. That's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to do.
Hey,
you know
I
it's
got
true,
35.
Shay. You know it's true.
If I